and replace him by a new chairperson. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as regards part B of the question, I'm not aware of any allegation or irregularities thereat made by the former chairperson. Insofar as the alleged interference of the Chief Executive Officer is concerned, I need to stress that his co-responsibility in the discharge of his duties is to give effect to the decision of the Management Committee. He cannot and is not allowed to change this decision. I have never been made aware of any change brought by the Chief Executive Officer to the decision of the Management Committee. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as far as the governance structure of the fund is concerned, it is clearly defined in the regulations which establish the fund. In addition, there is a well-established governance framework for public sector organizations to which this fund subscribes. The House may rest assured that I will leave no stone unturned to continuously improve the administrative processes in the parastitical bodies that fall under the purview of my ministry, so as to give satisfaction to our stakeholders.
Partial, j'ai bien écouté sa réponse, a été menée avant la décision de révoquer M. NV, ou s'agit-il d'une mesure prise de manière précipitée et sans procédure transparente?
I can assure the honourable member that at the level of my ministry, the officers has conducted all inquiries and has come to that conclusion.
Question. L'honorable ministre a informé la Chambre qu'il n'est au courant d'aucune allégation d'ingérence du Chief Executive Officer, comme l'a bien fait mention M. NV dans ses déclarations à la presse. Oui, j'arrive. Et j'aimerais savoir de l'honorable ministre pourquoi il n'y a pas eu, suite à la déclaration de M. NV dans les médias, pourquoi il n'y a pas eu de communication claire et publique jusqu'ici, ou tout au moins une enquête interne par rapport aux allégations qui ont été faites par M. NV.
From the employees, I would like to draw the attention of the House that after explaining her predicament, she stated as follows. Finally, I wish to clarify that what she said. I wish to clarify that this correspondence is not intended to undermine the authority of the CEO. In addition, in the same correspondence, she stated that she was seeking clarifications as to whether the actions of the CEO amounted to intimidation or harassment. In fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, once a new chairperson is appointed, I will request him, the next board, to look into the matter and give his reply.
The Honourable Second Member for Mayberg-Mayon.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. B655.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am informed that the Special Mobile Force Museum, SMF Museum, has been closed to the public since December 1997. Following the closure, the site was taken over by the Tourism Authority in 2009 to serve as an operational venue for its cleaning team. The Tourism Authority occupied the building and its premises until September 2022. Following the establishment of the National Environment Cleaning Agency, NECA, in 2022, the ex-SMF Museum building and its premises, which were then under the control of the Prime Minister's Office, was allocated to the NECA in September 2022. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish to inform the House that a sum of 40 million rupees was earmarked under the capital budget for the financial year 2023-2024 was a renovation of a building for NICA. The renovation works were not carried out due to financial constraints. The maintenance of the building and the yard are undertaken by the employees of the Mori Facilities Management Company Limited. The House may further wish to note that a request has been made to the Prime Minister's office to take over the site and the building on the 17th March 2026. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to Part B, the question does not arise and there is no museum.
Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Grand-Port and Roosevelt.
Merci, Monsieur le Vice-président. PQ B656, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, presently there are 2,506 persons who are registered as fishermen, out of whom 608 persons were issued with fisherman card in the year 2024, that is, prior to the general elections. I'm informed that since 2007, a certificate of character is required at the time of submitting an application for a fisherman card. With regard to part A of the question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, a clean certificate of character is not a prerequisite to be eligible for a fisherman card. A person having been convicted for any offence other than drug dealing may be issued with a fisherman card, provided that he meets all the other criteria. Now, it is only when the applicant is convicted for drug dealing that he is debarred from having a fisherman card. Under Section 122F of the Fisheries Act 2023, a person is convicted for the offence of drug dealing under the Dangerous Drugs Act shall be deregistered as a fisherman. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part B of the question, a total of 60 applications have been rejected on account of the certificate of character over the past 5 years. In all these instances, the certificate of character indicated that the applicant was convicted of a drug dealing offence.
The Honourable First Member for Montaille-Blanche and Grand-Port, Grand Rivière-Sargis.
Sir, B657.
Monsieur le Vice-président, avec votre permission, je répondrai conjointement aux questions B657 de l'honorable membre et B693 de l'honorable Roupny, celle-ci portant sur un même sujet. Monsieur le Vice-président, depuis plusieurs mois, les marchés énergétiques mondiaux connaissent des fortes turbulences. Malgré le cessez-le-feu conditionnel, les perturbations des routes maritimes, les tensions géopolitiques persistantes ainsi que les dommages causés aux infrastructures énergétiques continuent d'alimenter une flambée des prix des produits pétroliers. À Maurice, et en tant que pays fortement dépendant des importations énergétiques, notre pays subit directement cette situation. Le cas du heavy fuel oil illustre parfaitement cette réalité. Aujourd'hui, chaque cargaison d'environ 33 500 tonnes de fuel lourd coûte au CUB près de 489 millions de roupies supplémentaires, soit une augmentation de 68% par cargaison. Il convient de rappeler que le fuel lourd représente encore l'une des principales sources pour assurer la production d'électricité du pays et contribuer à près de 40% des besoins du pays. L'impact financier, Monsieur le Vice-président, est colossal. Le CEB estime devoir absorber un surcoût annuel additionnel d'environ 4,8 milliards de roupies uniquement pour couvrir les dépenses liées à l'importation du fuel lourd. Monsieur le Vice-président, cette situation intervient alors même que les finances du CEB se retrouvent dans un état extrêmement fragile. Il est important de rappeler qu'en 2014, lorsque le Parti travailliste quittait le pouvoir, le CEB disposait encore des réserves de 894 millions de roupies. En 2022, le CEB avait 7 milliards de roupies de surplus dans ses comptes. Pourtant, en l'espace de 2 ans seulement, cette situation s'est totalement renversée. Au 31 décembre 2024, alors que j'assumais les fonctions de ministre de l'Énergie, le CEB affichait une balance négative de 5,9 milliards de roupies. Autrement dit, l'organisme est passé d'une situation de réserve importante à une situation financière extrêmement dégradée, marquée par des déficits massifs et une dépendance croissante aux facilités bancaires, loans et overdraft. À ce jour, la dette totale du CEB a atteint 9,3 milliards de roupies, dont 5,2 milliards de découvertes bancaires, overdraft. Les comptes audités au 30 juin 2024 faisaient déjà ressortir un déficit de 243 millions de roupies. Monsieur le vice-président, dans ces circonstances, il aurait été irréaliste, financièrement irresponsable, d'exiger du CEB qu'il absorbe seul l'intégralité des os liés au heavy fuel oil, sans procéder à une révision tarifaire. Il faut d'ailleurs préciser que la hausse appliquée à partir du 1er mai 2026 ne permettra même pas au CEB de récupérer l'ensemble des coûts supplémentaires qu'il devra supporter. Alors que les dépenses additionnelles liées au fuel load sont estimées à 4,8 milliards de roupies par an, la révision tarifaire ne devrait générer que 3 milliards de roupies de revenus supplémentaires. Le différentiel, donc entre 4,8 milliards et 3 milliards, soit environ 1,8 milliard, devra encore être absorbé par le CEB. Autrement dit, Monsieur le Vice-président, si le CEB avait choisi de répercuter l'intégralité de la hausse du coût de fuel load sur les consommateurs, le tarif d'électricité aurait dû augmenter d'environ 25%. Ceci n'a pas été le cas. Malgré la situation financière extrêmement tendue, le gouvernement et le CEB ont veillé à protéger les catégories les plus faibles, les plus vulnérables de la population, ainsi que les petites entreprises. Près de 128 000 familles clients du CEB, incluant les 8 000 bénéficiaires des kits photovoltaïques, ne seront pas affectés par la hausse tarifaire. Ces mesures concernent principalement les ménages enregistrés au Social Register of Mauritius. Au total, Monsieur le Vice-président, 25% de la clientèle du CEB bénéficiera d'un mécanisme de protection contre la hausse des tarifs. Monsieur le Vice-président, toutefois, le CEB a pris en considération ces impacts potentiels pour protéger les plus faibles. Monsieur le Vice-président, en ce qui concerne les déconnexions, le CEB m'informe qu'au cours de l'année écoulée, 21 211 ménages sur un total de 482 000 ménages à Maurice et à Rodrigue ont été déconnectés en raison du non-paiement de leur facture d'électricité.
The Honourable Second Member for Belrose Cadbourne.
658. Merci.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am informed that Mrs. B.S., Assistant Child Program Officer at the National Children's Council since 2012, is currently the Acting Shelter Manager at the residential care institution Cap l'Espoir, managed by the Council. She has been appointed on 23rd April 2026 by the NCC after the previous Acting Shelter Manager resigned on 20th April. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the qualifications of a shelter manager as per the scheme of service approved by the NCC's board on 28th August 2015 are as follows. A diploma in social work or administration or management or an equivalent qualification acceptable to the Council. And B, at least 3 years of experience in the field of social work. I am tabling the scheme of service of shelter manager of the RCI.
Yes.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Je remercie la Première ministre par intérim pour sa réponse. La Première ministre par intérim peut-elle expliquer à la Chambre comment un établissement aussi sensible peut fonctionner correctement alors qu'il a connu 3 managers en seulement 5 mois depuis sa réouverture le 5 décembre 2025, un véritable musical chair témoignant d'une instabilité chronique et soulevant de sérieuses préoccupations quant à sa gestion. D'ailleurs, pas plus tard que la semaine dernière, des pains moisis ont été servis aux enfants. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président.
Monsieur le Vice-président, je remercie l'honorable membre d'avoir soulevé cette question. Je dois avouer qu'il existe des problèmes relationnels entre les employés de ce shelter. Il se serait constitué, Monsieur le Vice-président, en clan et essayerait de manipuler les enfants contre tel ou tel clan. Le board enquête sur le sujet. Des actions seront prises en temps et lieu. En attendant, nous relançons pour la 3e fois un Expression of Interest pour inviter les ONG à prendre la gestion du shelter avec un personnel formé et dedicated. Quant aux questions de pain moisi, je remercie encore une fois l'honorable membre d'avoir soulevé la question parce que nous aussi, moi aussi, je trouve que c'est inacceptable qu'on puisse donner aux enfants du shelter du pain moisi. Monsieur le Vice-président, le 5 mai, le ministère a été informé que du pain moisi avait été servi à un des enfants du shelter. Une enquête a été initiée. Il s'avère que la cuisinière a déclaré qu'elle n'avait pas constaté que le pain était moisi, vu qu'il n'y avait pas suffisamment de luminosité dans la cuisine. La cuisine n'était pas suffisamment éclairée. Un officier du ministère s'est rendu sur les lieux et a constaté que toutes les lumières, toutes les ampoules fonctionnaient. La cuisinière a tout de suite été remplacée. Un statement a été donné à la police de Grand-Bay le même jour, OBI 1449/26. L'enfant a été conduit à l'hôpital pour des examens médicaux. Heureusement qu'aucun problème de santé n'a été relevé.
Une dernière, Monsieur le Vice-président, d'ailleurs, je vous en remercie. Je remercie la Première ministre par intérim pour sa réponse. En attendant qu'une ONG prenne la gérance du shelter Cap l'Espoir, would the acting Prime Minister inform the House whether there are plans to review the organizational structure and staffing requirements of a shelter with a view to improving service delivery? Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Oui, évidemment. C'est pourquoi le National Children's Council est en train de tout revoir le fonctionnement du shelter en attendant qu'une ONG digne de ce nom puisse être confiée ce shelter.
Honourable Fourth Member for Wodig.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, B659.
My apologies to you, sir. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed that the use of pesticides in Mauritius and Rodrigue is regulated under the use of the Pesticides Act of 2018. This act, which is enforced by the Pesticides Regulatory Office of the Ministry, provides a comprehensive legal framework governing the proper use, handling, and disposal of pesticides. The legislation is aligned with international standards and best practices and aims to safeguard public health and the environment from the potential risks associated with pesticide use. With regard to Part B of the question, I'm informed by the Agricultural Services of the Ministry that regular monitoring and inspection exercises are carried out by the Pesticide Regulatory Office to ensure compliance with established norms. The Office also develops strategies for the sound use and management of pesticides with a view to reducing risks associated with their use, and has devised a comprehensive code of practice. The code of practice covers inter alia the responsibilities of pesticide users, guidance on when to use pesticides, interpretation of pesticide labels, safety precaution during use, and requirement relating to the storage, mixing, and application and transportation of pesticides. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am informed that the Food and Agricultural Research Extension Institute has been implementing continuous training and sensitization program on the safe and judicious use of pesticides since 2002. To date, over 6,400 farmers have benefited from these programs. This has been complemented by extensive field advisory services with some 15,000 or more visits carried out to guide planters on proper pesticide use and pesticide diagnosis. Following the proclamation of the Use of Pesticide Act in 2018, I'm informed that additional structured training courses have been delivered to more than 1,700 planters, thereby further strengthening capacity in the responsible handling and application of pesticide. These efforts are further supported by a wide range of extension materials and media outreach initiatives covering integrated pest management, alternatives to chemical control, and of course good agricultural practices, including the Moringa program. Now, in order, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, to further strengthen the enforcement of the Use of Pesticides Act, the Ministry is collaborating with the United Nations Development Programme and the Attorney General's Office to finalize 4 regulations under the Act. In this context, my ministry has organized a validation workshop on the 4 draft pesticide regulations on the 6th of May 2026, with the participation of 75 stakeholders from the public and private sectors, regulatory institutions, growers, importers of agricultural produce, agrochemicals, and technical experts. These regulations, with inter alia, provide for the control of pesticide use with respect to maximum residue level on harvested produce, establish guidelines for the sampling of agricultural commodities, and set out requirements relating to the mixing of pesticide and the training of pesticide applicators. My ministry, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, remains committed to continuously strengthening pesticide governance to protect public health, preserve the environment, and ensure the safety and quality of agricultural produce.
Honourable Edouard.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honourable Minister, is there any collaboration between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Health to study if there is any relation to a rise in cancer cases with the use of pesticides in agriculture? Thank you.
Yes, certainly, this question has been raised, flagged, flogged, but it's very difficult to establish clearly whether there is a link. Although, if I refer to a number of cases, refer to hospitals, there may be. But as of now, I've gone through literature to establish fully that there is a link is yet to be determined. But certainly, it cannot be ruled out.
Je vous remercie. Dans un contexte où le directeur de l'audit regrette lui-même que les contrôles soient insuffisants, que les sanctions par rapport à l'utilisation excessive de pesticides soient inexistantes, est-ce que réduire les effectifs du Pesticide Regulatory Office ne revient pas à exposer davantage la population à des produits potentiellement dangereux?
There's always room for improvement. One of the shortcomings is effectively the shortage of officers, and this matter is being addressed in a very forceful manner. Secondly, I must say, since some time, the lab has been out of order because of unavailability of spare parts. It's only now that the technician from South Africa is coming for the lab is coming to Mauritius to ensure that spare part is available to repair the lab. And thirdly, in the meantime, we are not leaving any stone unturned. We are sending samples, or what we call the juice, to a laboratory in Egypt.
The Honourable third member for the Grand Port as well.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. PQB 660, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, since my becoming Minister of Land Transport, I have initiated several initiatives that seek to modernize the transport sector. Today, the penalty point system is fully digital, just like the online payment of road tax, commonly known as online MVL. Forthcoming ones are the digital driving license and online payment of fines, for which drafting instructions have already been issued to the Attorney General's office. A cashless ticketing system is at consultancy stage. We are going for the extra mile in the quest for digitalization of the land transport, and I'm sure my colleague, the Minister of ICT, will surely concur with me on this front. The fleet management system, which is the subject matter of Honourable Ramdas, is a key initiative, which I and officers of my ministry have relentlessly worked on, with an initial intention to have it on a PPP basis, with almost no budgetary provision, except for consultancy services. We have, after consultation with the Attorney General's office, deemed it more appropriate that it be financed and implemented by government, as all PPP projects that followed strictly the process of the Build, Operate, Transfer unit of the Ministry of Finance have never been completed as far as we know. An international bidding exercise was launched on 21st of January 2026 for implementation of the fleet management system with an initial closing date of 9 March 2026 and a bid opening on 11 March 2026. The closing date was subsequently extended to 24 March 2026 following representations from bidders and opened on 26 March 2026. 3 bids have been received at the closing date. The technical evaluation exercise has been completed and the relevant report has been submitted and is being processed for endorsement. My ministry expects to award the contract very shortly in line with procedures laid down in the Public Procurement Act. I am confident that the fleet management system will be running in early 2027 and will go a long way in enhancing transparency, efficiency and accountability in the public transport system while improving service delivery to commuters. Deputy Speaker, sir, I thank the Honourable Member for his interest in the project, which when coupled with the Bus Services Bill, for which we have already issued drafting instructions to the Attorney General's office, seeks to modernize the public bus services that convey nearly 500 million people daily. The fleet management system, which inter alia entails the installation of GPSs in all buses, will profoundly redefine the current bus operation system. It will introduce digital tools to support real-time operations, improve timetable adherence, and enable data-driven decision-making for both operators and regulators. It will also allow for payment of compensation for free travel and diesel subsidies based on the real numbers of trips effected. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable
Mr. President, in view of the difficulties faced by the inhabitants of remote areas of the country, including Saint-Hubert, as the Honourable Minister is aware himself, may we have a clear timeline as to the full implementation and putting into practice of the fleet management system?
Yes. My officers and technicians tell me that it will be for early 2027, because once the tender is awarded, there will be extensive work involved in installation of the electronic system in 2,000 buses and the central control system. So we should be okay by 2007 if all goes on well.
Honourable second member for Grand Prix.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Sir. B661.
Monsieur le Vice-président, le CEB m'informe qu'entre 2016 et 2019, un total de 288 recours techniques ont été engagés en 3 vagues distinctes, soit 152 techniciens réunis, et 38 techniciens grade 2, ainsi que 98 cadets techniciens. J'ai également été informé que les critères de recrutement applicables au poste de technicien trainee avaient été modifiés afin de permettre l'enrôlement des candidats ne détendant pas encore la certification NC3 ou NTC Level 3. Donc, cela a été modifié pour que vous ayez du travail comme cadet technicien au CEB, vous devez avoir soit le NC3 ou le NTC3. Ce qui s'est passé dans le passé, l'ancien régime, ce qu'ils ont fait, c'est qu'ils ont recruté des gens sans avoir la certification NTC3. Donc, ceci dit, ce travail de cadet technicien, c'est un travail technique. Vous avez à travailler directement avec l'électricité. Donc, ils ont modifié le scheme of duty pour pouvoir recruter certaines personnes de leur circonscription. Il avait alors été convenu que le CEB prendrait les dispositions nécessaires avec le MITD afin que ces recrues qui n'ont pas de certificat puissent suivre la formation requise et obtenir leur qualification durant leur période de stage. Donc, on vous recrute pour travailler, ensuite on vous demande de passer les tests. Donc, c'est comme si on prend un infirmier à l'hôpital, il n'a pas ses certificats, il travaille comme infirmier ou comme médecin, et après qu'il est demandé d'avoir sa certification. Monsieur le vice-président, les contrats prévoyaient clairement que ces formations devraient s'étendre sur une période minimale de 24 mois, 2 ans, et maximum de 36 mois, 3 ans. Après quoi, les recrues devraient être confirmées dans leurs fonctions ou soit voir leur engagement prendre fin. Or, Monsieur le vice-président, les faits aujourd'hui relevés démontrent des graves défaillances administratives et un manque flagrant de suivi au sein du CEB. J'ai appris que plusieurs années après leur recrutement, dans certains cas, plus de 5 ans après, certains cadets techniciens n'avaient toujours ni complété leur formation, ni réussi leur competency test, ni été régularisés dans leur statut. Ces dysfonctionnements n'ont été pleinement découverts qu'en décembre de l'année dernière, en 2025, lorsque le nouveau conseil d'administration du CEB a exigé un rapport complet sur la gestion de ces recrutements et du suivi des cadets techniciens. Monsieur le vice-président, cependant, cette affaire, malheureusement, a pris une tournure extrêmement sérieuse lorsque 4 anciens cadets techniciens ont contesté leur licenciement devant le Employment Relations Tribunal. Dans son jugement, l'IRT a sévèrement pointé du doigt le CEB pour non-respect des dispositions fondamentales du Workers' Rights Act. Le tribunal a conclu que ces employés étaient demeurés en poste bien au-delà de la période maximale prévue dans leur contrat de cadetship et qu'ils devaient être considérés comme des workers pleinement protégés par la loi. Plus grave, le tribunal a constaté que le CEB n'avait pas respecté les procédures obligatoires prévues sous la section 64 du Workers' Rights Act. Monsieur le vice-président, cette affaire relève des manquements graves au niveau du suivi administratif et des responsabilités du département des ressources humaines du CEB. Je dois d'ailleurs dire que personnellement, je ne partage nullement l'interprétation que certains veulent me faire dire ici au Parlement, selon laquelle il appartenait uniquement au chef des départements techniques de recommander la résiliation ou non des stages et des cadetships. La question liée aux nominations, au renouvellement des contrats, au suivi des formations, au respect des délais contractuels ainsi qu'à la conformité avec les obligations légales relève directement de la responsabilité du département des ressources humaines. Or, il est forcé de constater que déjà depuis ni en 2021 ni en 2022, le département de HR n'a attiré l'attention de la direction du CEB sur les risques légaux considérables découlant du maintien prolongé des sans-employés dans une situation irrégulière pendant plusieurs années. Cette négligence administrative place aujourd'hui le CEB dans une situation extrêmement embarrassante où des fonds publics devront être mobilisés pour assumer les conséquences de ces erreurs. Dommage que les leaders de l'opposition ne soient pas présents.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honourable Minister, according to my information, around 5.6 million of rupees of public funds have already been paid by the CB. Can he inform this House what disciplinary action has been taken against any person responsible for this situation?
Je dois dire, Monsieur le Vice-président, que effectivement, un montant de plus de 5,6 millions devra être payé ou a été payé, ont été payés à ses employés. Et personnellement, Monsieur le Vice-président, j'ai demandé au board du CEB de demander des explications formelles, que ces explications formelles soient réclamées au chef du département des ressources humaines afin de déterminer pourquoi ces situations n'ont pas été signalées plus tôt et pourquoi les procédures qui étaient prévues n'ont pas été respectées avant les licenciements. J'ai également été informé que le chef du département des ressources humaines, qui est une dame, Madame C.M., a essayé de donner une explication. Mais je dirais que si les explications ne sont pas satisfaisantes, des sanctions administratives et disciplinaires pourront être envisagées à l'encontre des responsables concernés, parce que dans ce cas précis, il y a eu complot.
Oui, vu la dangerosité du métier et du poste de cadet technician et que vu la plupart des candidats n'étaient pas aptes à exercer ce métier, est-ce que l'honorable ministre peut nous informer s'il y a eu un audit pour déterminer si ces candidats sont désormais aptes ou non à exercer ce métier? Merci.
Oui, c'est sûr que oui, un audit a été fait pour voir si ces techniciens sont des véritables techniciens ou ce sont des gens qui n'ont pas les qualités requises pour faire ce travail. Parce que, comme je l'ai dit un peu plus tôt, Monsieur le Vice-président, ce sont des gens qui sont obligés de travailler en contact direct avec l'électricité sur les colonnes. Oui, mais je dirais aussi que dorénavant, le scheme of duties ont été changés complètement pour ce que vous devez avoir au préalable le NCC3 ou le NC3 pour pouvoir être admis, être recruté en tant que cadet technicien ou trainee technicien au CEB.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Vice-président. La question B662, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish to inform the House that Mauritius as a tropical island state with heavy rainfall, flooding, increasing urban density and continuous international travel remains vulnerable to the spread and importation of infectious diseases such as chikungunya, dengue and mpox. My ministry has therefore reinforced preparedness, surveillance and response mechanism in collaboration with relevant ministries and stakeholders. With regard to part A1 of the question, all regional hospitals and designated health institutions are equipped with isolation and treatment facilities for infectious diseases. The new Suyak Hospital serves as a designated admitting institution for highly infectious disease, due to its proximity to Sir Sisaga Rambulam International Airport. Strategic stockpiles of personal protective equipment, disinfectants, medicines, laboratory consumables, and infection prevention and control materials are maintained. Laboratory diagnostic capacities have also been strengthened through collaboration with organizations such as the World Health Organization, the Indian Ocean Commission, and Africa CDC. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I regard area health centers and community health centers. These institutions play a key role in early detection, reporting, prevention, and management of infectious diseases through screening, triage, referral vaccination, health education, and surveillance activities. With regard to sanitary officers posted at the airport and port, officers are deployed on a roster basis to screen incoming passengers and vessels, is granted to vessels only after clearance by my ministry. Incoming passengers are required to complete the Mauritius all-in-one travel form, and particulars of travelers arriving from affected countries are transmitted to the certain regional health officers for follow-up surveillance. Blood and sputum samples are taken whenever required for laboratory analysis. In addition, dedicated general practitioners have been deployed to strengthen surveillance against imported infectious diseases. Enhanced surveillance protocols are implemented for passengers arriving from countries affected by diseases such as Mpox, including physical visits, telephone monitoring, and immediate referral procedures where necessary. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, effective prevention and control require coordinated action across several sectors. Mauritius has therefore strengthened intersectoral collaboration under a One Health approach involving ministries responsible for environment, agro-industry, local government, tourism, education, and other relevant stakeholders. A multi-sectoral committee chaired by me ensures high-level coordination for surveillance, vector control, sanitation, risk communication, and outbreak preparedness. I am tabling the various measures put in place. Regarding preparedness to respond to emerging infectious diseases. With regard to Part B of the question, my ministry had developed and implemented several preparedness and response plans, including the national operational plans for leptospirosis, Mpox, dengue, chikungunya, and viral hemorrhagic fever diseases. These preparedness and response plans are also implemented in Rodrigue. Mauritius is also implementing innovative vector control strategies such as sterile insect techniques involving the release of sterile male Aedes albopictus mosquitoes in selected regions to reduce vector populations. Risk communication and community engagement activities are carried out through door-to-door sensitization, schools, community talks, and mass media campaigns to encourage behavioral change and elimination of breeding sites.
The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigue.
Yes, thank you. B663. The Deputy Speaker, sir. The bus modernization scheme was introduced in 2014 to provide a financial support to bus operators for renewal of bus fleet through the replacement of aging buses with safer, more efficient and environmentally compliant vehicles, with the objective of improving passenger comfort, service reliability, road safety, and sustainable public transport, both in Mauritius and Rodrigues. For Mauritius, the Bus Modernization Scheme, in short BMS, is administered by the NLTA, and the bus operators are provided subsidies as follows. Number one, a high-floor diesel bus, 20% of the total price of the bus, subject to a maximum of 700,000 rupees. For number two, semi-low floor bus, 1 million rupees. Number three, electric bus, 30% of the price of the bus, subject to a maximum of 3.5 million rupees. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that there are currently 73 buses in Rodrigues, and that for the period 2017 to 2023, the NLTA was making the disbursement to applicants from Rodrigues for subsidy under the BMS. Thereafter, payment has been effected by the Rodrigues Regional Assembly, RRA. I am further informed that since 2014, these bus operators are entitled to a government subsidy of 1 million rupees for high-flow buses. That is 300,000 rupees more than is paid to operators in Mauritius. This difference is explained by the fact that operators in Rodrigues incur additional costs in shipping the bus acquired from Mauritius to Rodrigues, a cost which is not borne by local operators. Moreover, justification for higher subsidy arose from the fact that the wear and tear of buses running in Rodrigues was more due to topography of the island. More often than not, spare parts required for repairs had to be acquired from Mauritius, which again entailed increased expenses. The NLTA is called upon only to check compliance of the bus with the specifications of the Road Traffic, Construction and Use Regulations 2010, and to recommend the applications for payment. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to the question from the Honourable Member on the cost of the bus body being higher than the chassis, I am informed by the NLTA that this is not quite the case, although true it is that the bus body costs as much as 85 to 90% of the cost of the chassis and the fitted engine. This cost is equally borne by operators in Mauritius as well as those from Rodrigues. I wish to clarify that the BMS subsidy framework is not structured around individual cost components of any bus, such as the body, the chassis, or the engine, but rather takes into account the overall acquisition cost of a compliant bus. The subsidy amount has been worked out as a fixed sum on the total capital investment of any bus operator without factoring in the difference cost of buses based on make, model, seating capacity, etc. The only defining criteria is whether the bus is a high-floor, semi-low floor, or electric bus. Having regards to the specificity of Rodrigues, I'm given to understand that only high-floor buses are concerned. I'm made to understand, Deputy Speaker, sir, that disbursement for the BMS for the last 3 years for Rodrigues are as follows. Financial year 2022 and 23, 2 million rupees for 2 buses. 2023-2024, 3 million rupees for 3 buses. 2024-2025, 7 million rupees for 7 buses. 2025-2026, 3 million rupees, only free applications processed so far as at May 2026. As announced in Budget Exercise 2025-2026, the NLTA is carrying out a comprehensive exercise for the revamping of the BMS. During that exercise, the quantum of the subsidy will be worked out anew to align subsidy amount with actual investment costs, taking into account government policy objectives, including environmental considerations. The Road Transport Advisory Board has also been requested to submit their advice on the proposed views. To end, Deputy Speaker, sir, once this exercise is completed, the new quantum will be shared with the RRA, enabling them to adjust subsidy payment to bus operators at their end. I am informed by the Ministry of Finance that as at date, no request for review under the BMS has been received at the level of the Commission for Public Infrastructure and others in Rodrigues. I'm also given to understand that there is a provision of 5 million rupees for financial year 2026-2027 under the BMS. Thank you.
The Honourable First Member for Montagne Blanche and Grand Rivière.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B664.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I wish to inform the House that there are currently around 65,000 hectares of land potentially available for agriculture, out of which 40,000 hectares are dedicated to sugarcane production and some 8,000 hectares to food crop production. The remaining extent is under other crops, including greenhouse farming, tea plantation, and orchards. Our most recent analysis shows that around 6,500 hectares of land out of the 40,000 hectares belonging to small planters, government, and corporate growers were no longer under sugarcane plantation in 2025. Out of these, 4,000 hectares are located in areas classified as high or moderate potential for agriculture. With regard to Part A of the question, since November 2024 to date, some 1,100 acres of state land have been allocated to planters from the Ministry, Ausbel Sugar Estate, and Sugar Investment Trust. And this extent of land is actively under cultivation. With reference to Part B of the question, I'm informed that some 1,050 acres of state land remain available and will be allocated to planters who have submitted or who will submit application for state land for agricultural purposes. The Honourable Member may wish to note that the procedures for obtaining state land have been streamlined to facilitate timely access for planters and to accelerate cultivation in support of national food security in the light of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and its implication for global food supplies. It is increasingly imperative that our country expand domestic production to reduce dependence on import and moves towards greater self-sufficiency. To this end, my ministry has reduced the number of eligibility criteria applied to applicants for state land from 14 to 4, so as to fast-track the allocation process and render same more attractive to small planters. I wish to assure the House that the ministry remains fully committed to promote measures to achieve and strengthen food security. The ministry, through Small Farmers Welfare Fund, Food Agricultural Research Extension Unit, and Agricultural Marketing Board, provides extensive support and incentives to small planters and farmers to the tune of 568 million rupees, so as to ease the burden of increasing cost of input for the agricultural sector, such as fertilizer, mechanization, seeds, and livestock feed, amongst others. For the benefit of the House, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm tabling the comprehensive list of incentives and support measures administered through Small Farmers Welfare Fund, the FARE. I would like to thank the honourable member for raising this important question and reiterate the ministry's determination to support the planters and to put all necessary measures to ensure national food security.
Honourable second member for Grammy Pouzo.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. B665.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Deputy Speaker, presently there are 2 barashwa which are operational in constituency number 6, which have been allocated to promoters and not leased to them. These are as follows: Barashwa Largesse, also known as Petit Barashwa, allocated on the 9th January 2014 for Aquaculture to Pesticide Royal Company Limited, having as director Mr. Kemra's person and located at Aquaculture Road, Grand Gomme. And 2, Grand Barashwa, also known as Bassin Humbert, allocated to Mauricos Limited on the 17th September 2015, having as director Mr. Yashodhar Boiga and located at Morel, Rivière du Rempart. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the activities carried out by the above promoters as follows. Pesticide Royal Company Limited has been allocated the Petit Barashwa of an extent of 19 arpents for the Barashwa and 3 arpents 25 pairs for the adjoining state land for oyster culture for a period of 3 years from 2016. The company was allowed to continue its activities till date. The species which are currently farmed in plastic drums in the Barashwa oysters, clams, and crabs. Future development in the Barashwa include the construction of a hatchery, an epuration station, and a laboratory which has been favorably considered by the ministry. A lease agreement for a period of 10 years has been worked out by the ministry for this Barashwa and has been legally vetted by Attorney General's Office. On 22nd April 2026, the draft lease agreement has been submitted to the company for its view prior to the signature. The ministries are waiting for the company's reply. The Ministry of Housing Lands has also been requested to confirm the demarcation coordinates of the Barashwa, which, if ever the lease this agreement will be finalized. So let me come to Grand Barashwa, also known as Bassin Humbert. Mauricos Limited has been allocated the Grand Barashwa of an extent of 110 arpents to pairs for the Barashwa and 11 arpents 85 pairs for the adjoining state land for mud crab, sea cucumber, and aquaculture for an initial period of 5 years since 2015. The company was allowed to continue its activities till date. Now, the species which are currently farmed in the Barashwa oysters and mud crab, there was also seed production of sea cucumber, and sea cucumber juveniles have been released in the Barashwa. Further development plan includes production of high economic value pharmaceutical, for cosmetic and health industry. Now, the project write-up submitted by the company was in March 2025, and it's being looked into. The draft lease agreement for this Barashua is currently being drafted by the ministry, which will include all approved ongoing above mentioned. Once finalized, if ever it is finalized, the draft lease agreement will be vetted by the Attorney General's office and then finalized if we are going ahead with the lease agreement. So let's wait and see. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister indicate whether any areas of payment fees are outstanding in respect to any Barashua operating in constituency number 6? And if so, what are the measures taken till now?
Yes, there was no lease agreement, as I've stated, okay? I leave it to the Attorney Generals. Once advice is tendered to us, we certainly, if the need is felt, we have to recover the areas. And you can rest assured appropriate measure will be taken. There's also the indemnity for use, which my good friend is conveying.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Minister state whether the Ministry has carried out inspections of the Barashua during the last 3 years with regards to any compliance, non-compliance, what action has been taken till now?
We have no choice but following the questions which you've put. It's an eye-opener, and you can rest assured more than one visit will be carried out.
The Honourable Third Member for Maybeck and Magnon.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Sir, B666, please.
Deputy Speaker, sir, coincidence has it that this year's Global Road Safety Week was kick-started last Saturday morning at Maybeck, in the presence of the Honourable Lakiram and Honourable Apollo. The Honourable Ramphal could not make it as he was overseas. I have to thank the three honourable members for the arrangements they have made to make this event a success. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that from 1st of January 2023 to 7 May 2026, that is 3.5 years period, a total of 74 fatal road accidents have been recorded in the southern division of the island, unfortunately, resulting in the loss of 78 lives. I'm tabling the yearly breakdown thereof. In regard to Part A of the question, I am informed that the principal causes of these fatal road accidents have been identified as speeding, as well as dangerous, careless, and inconsiderate driving. With regard to Part B of the question, Deputy Speaker, sir, one of the major policy measures already implemented since 31st January 2026, albeit not specific to the southern region, is the penalty point system. Last Friday, I have for the first time ever presented a first quarterly report to the Cabinet of Ministers about road accidents, more specifically about how the penalty point system has fared since it's coming into operation 3 months down the line. I intend to henceforth do this on a quarterly basis, such transparent exercise allows us to bring changes wherever necessary and hopefully improve on road safety. I use the word hopefully because road safety is not merely a matter of infrastructure or law enforcement, it is a matter of culture. There was a peak in January 2026 as compared to January 2025, but in this respect, police recorded a reduction of 25% in road fatalities in April 2026 under the penalty point system as compared to April 2025 under the cumulative road traffic offence. Government has deemed it necessary to increase the range of points for the offence of using handheld phone while driving from 3 to 6 points to 5 to 6 points because of the high percentage of 70% that this offence constitutes in the total number of contraventions established under the penalty point system. And in terms of technological improvement, it may be realistically expected that the capture of road traffic offences through safe city cameras can significantly enhance compliance. In fact, I had the opportunity to visit the main command and control center of the police relating to the safe city cameras on 2nd April 2026. I will be holding a meeting on the subject matter in due course, but sufficient for me to say right now that there will have to be quite a bit of investment to be made by the police in order for the cameras to be able to detect offences with the help of AI. My colleague was with me during the visit that we made to the police, Mr. Ramdol. In the meantime, the Attorney General's office is working on several other decisions of government to strengthen enforcement on our roads, notably the possible impoundment of vehicles in case a driver is driving while being under the influence of alcohol or drug, and is also to include road rage as an offence under the Road Traffic Act. In terms of policy formulation, Deputy Speaker, sir, I have to underscore that a cumulative consultative workshop involving all key partners involved in the road safety was held yesterday in relation to the National Road Safety Strategy 2026-2030. Once finalized, the approval of government will be sought on that strategy document for its implementation. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Commissioner of Police has informed that intelligence-led policing through data analysis to identify accident-prone areas and black spots, high visibility enforcement operations, implementation of selective traffic enforcement policy, meaning STEP, regular alcohol test operations, speed enforcement through fixed and handheld devices, a special weekend crackdown operations, and daily vehicle checkpoints along motorways are being conducted. In addition, roadblock and vehicle checkpoints are regularly conducted with the support of the Special Mobile Force and local police division across the island, including the southern region, which is the subject of the question. In terms of infrastructural improvement, TRMSU has identified several high-risk areas in the southern region, classified as black spots, or hazardous road sections where remedial
You got
works
long to go, Mr. Honourable Minister?
No, not quite. Finishing soon.
Because you have been
2 paragraphs more, if I may.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Make it one.
Yeah, where remedial works are expected to commence shortly. These sites include Mordalbert Runabout, Plaine-Magnan-Weberg Road, Saint-Aubert along Savane Road. TRMSU will additionally implement traffic calming measures at several locations, namely Grand-Béliard, Britannia near the school area, Rivière des Anguilles, almost finishing, Deputy Speaker, sir, along La Baraque Road, Midlands, and Cité Lachaud. Works have already been issued in this regard. There we are.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Luckman.
Could the Honourable Minister please state how many of the fatal accidents in the southern region involve drivers testing positive for prohibited substances or synthetic drugs in the last 3 years?
That is an interesting question. I have the statistics for overall accident. I can find
You
out
can
the
find it. You can find the statistics. Honourable Jaman.
Deputy Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House where matters stand regarding the repeated request for speed breakers in constituency number 13?
Repeated speed request for speed breakers is not only to constituency, even in my own constituency. Even in my own constituency.
Okay, this question is far from
I have to add that there is a process to follow, but they will be doing it shortly. I have a list that TRMSU has been submitted.
Shortly, how short?
I can tell you, even in my constituency, I am having a lot of trouble with people, but it's going to be done.
Next question. The Honourable First Member for La Cavienne Phoenix.
This question will be answered by the Prime Minister.
Sorry. So, the Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Grand-Port, Rosebell. 667. The Honourable First Member for Wooding.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Sir, question B667, please.
Monsieur le Vice-président, le CEB gère actuellement 2 projets agrivoltaïques. Donc le CEB agrivoltaïque 1 et le projet CEB agrivoltaïque 2. Le projet agrivoltaïque 1 a été lancé en juillet 2024. Depuis ma prise de fonction au ministère, Monsieur le Vice-président, j'ai demandé au CEB de revoir tous les programmes d'énergie renouvelable, car je suis conscient des nombreuses faiblesses et des obstacles et des contraintes qui entravent leur mise en œuvre. Ces éléments expliquent en grande partie la faible adoption des projets d'énergie renouvelable par différentes catégories de la population ces 10 dernières années. À la lumière des changements apportés, en décembre de l'année dernière, donc en 2025, nous avons lancé le projet agrivoltaïque 2. Le système agrivoltaïque, c'est un système qui associe la production agricole et la production d'énergie. Il vise à répondre au double défi de sécurité alimentaire et de sécurité énergétique. Il est particulièrement important car il permet une utilisation optimale des ressources foncières limitées, tout en rendant les activités agricoles plus rentables. Monsieur le vice-président, en ce qui concerne la partie A de la question, le CEB m'informe que 131 demandes ont été reçues pour le programme de agrivoltaïque 1, lancé en juillet 2024, l'équivalent de 47,7 MW. 62 lettres d'intention ont été émises par le CEB à des demandeurs admissibles, représentant 21,8 MW, y compris pour Rodrigue. Suite aux évaluations techniques, seuls 22 accords de raccordement ont été signés à ce jour pour l'agrivoltaïque premier, ce qui représente une capacité totale de 9,1 MW. Concernant Rodrigue, 5 demandes représentant 1,6 MW ont été reçues, 3 lettres d'intention ont été émises, 2 raccordements ont été envoyés aux demandeurs, dont une a été signée. 3 demandeurs sont sur la liste d'attente et seront traités par ordre d'arrivée. En ce qui concerne l'agrivoltaïque 1 toujours, sur les 131 demandes initialement reçues, donc pour Maurice et Rodrigue, pour une capacité de 47,7 MW, un seul projet de 25 kW a été mis en service à ce jour. Cela confirme, Monsieur le Vice-président, ce que j'ai déjà mentionné un peu plus tôt, l'adoption insatisfaisante de ce système et ses problèmes inhérents. Le nouveau programme agrivoltaïque 2, qui a été lancé l'année dernière, associé au stockage de batteries, a été lancé par le CEB le 10 décembre de l'année dernière. Le agrivoltaïque 2 représente une évolution significative par rapport au programme agrivoltaïque 1, initialement, tant en termes de portée que d'exigences techniques, de structure du marché. La capacité prévue pour agrivoltaïque 2 est de 40 MW pour l'île Maurice et 2 MW pour Rodrigue. Le CEB m'informe que 43 demandeurs ont été reçus, représentant une capacité proposée de 118 MW. 31 lettres d'intention ont été émises en février de cette année-ci, en 2026, représentant 93 MW, dont 24 accords de raccordement ont déjà été signés cette année-ci, pour une capacité totale de 72 MW. Pour Rodrigue, une demande a été reçue représentant 1,8 MW est actuellement en cours de traitement.
J'ai 2 questions supplémentaires. Est-ce que l'honorable ministre pourra rassurer la Chambre que son ministère agira pour promouvoir ces 2 schemes à Rodrigue et encourager des applications à Rodrigue, avec la collaboration de l'Assemblée régionale, bien sûr?
Et je peux rassurer l'honorable membre que nous avons eu un engouement par rapport à agrivoltaïque 1 et agrivoltaïque 2. D'abord, ce qui a changé, c'est bien de savoir, c'est que ce qui a changé, en collaboration avec le ministère de l'Agriculture, nous avons changé au moins 4 points du scheme premier, si je peux l'appeler ainsi, de l'agrivoltaïque 1 à l'agrivoltaïque 2. Donc, ce que nous faisons, c'est que d'abord, l'agrivoltaïque 2, vous êtes obligé de mettre la batterie. Que ce soit à Rodrigue, que ce soit à Maurice, la batterie est obligatoire. Pourquoi? Parce que notre problème à nous, vous le savez déjà, de 6h à 9h du soir, nous avons un problème de la pression sur notre demande. Donc la batterie va nous aider. Deuxième chose, c'est que nous avons l'agrivoltaïque 1, c'était de 600 kW maximum. Dorénavant, c'est 4 MW maximum. Donc nous avons plus que triplé la capacité d'installation. Donc de 600 kW à 4 MW. Et la batterie demandée, nous avons demandé des batteries de 2 MW pour pouvoir injecter sur le réseau. Nous avons aussi, je suis content de le dire, nous avons aussi discuté avec mon honorable collègue ministre de l'Agriculture et dorénavant les LCP, the Land Conversion Permit, sera traité en espace de 7 jours. Donc si vous êtes un promoteur, vous demandez de Land Conversion Permit, En 7 jours, vous savez déjà si votre projet peut aller de l'avant ou votre projet va être rejeté. Ceci dit, nous avons aussi, avec la collaboration de l'agro, arrivé à une entente pour dire que dorénavant, vous avez un projet, peu importe que ce soit à Maurice ou à Rodrigue, déjà l'agro-industrie, le ministère peut vous dire déjà en amont que si votre terrain est low potential, medium potential. Donc, au départ, vous savez déjà que pas nécessaire d'attendre 3 mois, 3 ans, après que l'agro va vous dire que non, on ne pourra pas vous donner parce que c'est high potential. Donc, 4 items ont été ajoutés, changés dans le scheme initial, parce que nous voulons que on n'invente rien, à l'île de la Réunion, ils le font déjà, hein. Il n'y a absolument rien. Donc, ce que nous voulons, c'est que à Maurice et à Rodrigue, que ce soit l'agriculture, mais l'élevage aussi, hein, l'élevage aussi puisse se faire sous les panneaux de photovoltaïque.
Thank you. The Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Grand-Pont and Roswell.
PQB 669, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in reply to my PQs B420 and B466 on 21st April, I elaborated lengthily on the essence, features, services available and measures taken by my ministry to promote the uptake and accessibility of the correct mobile application. This app represents a shift towards a proactive government that anticipates citizens' needs rather than reacting to the requests while fostering citizen empowerment through enhanced digital access, convenience, and participation in public service delivery. It's the opposite of what the previous government used to do. The correct application has been established with the aim of consolidating fragmented government applications into a single window for all the inhabitants of the Republic. We would recall that in the past, there were different types of applications. There was this mot courant, mot prix, all sorts of moloyos were there earlier. But the citizens could not actually take advantage of the investment that was made out of public funds. And this is where the story was really sad. With keeping the citizen at the center, we redesigned, re-engineered, and restructured the services. And now we have the immediacy of service, the immediacy of information. One concrete example is the penalty point system that was worked upon collaboratively with my colleague from the Ministry for Transport. The driving license details, and very soon it will be a digital driving license. The real-time electricity consumption as seen from the grid on the app Correct. And there are more to come. The mobile ID, the application for morality certificate, and also the possibility for issuing complaints online for water leakages. So we've restructured it, and it's a restructured version of the National Authentication Framework application, which used to be referred as MOPAS. We've separated now authentication with services, from services. And one direct benefit has been the establishment of a single user ID and password for all of those services, which was not the case earlier. Since its launch on 30th January 2026, the Correct application is now easily accessible on Play Store, App Store, and Huawei App Gallery. To date, we have 462, 310 registered users, and 409 active users. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, on page 7 of the National Audit Report 23-24, the Director of Audit has been critical of the uptake of e-government services. And back then, out of 123 e-services, less than 10 were being effectively used by citizens. Clearly, the value versus investment ratio did not do justice to public funds. Our approach is to leverage existing investment in order to drive value for citizens. Therefore, it was necessary to extend the functionality of existing services to increase the uptake. And this extension pertains to phase 1 of Correct App, which is of limited scope and is being carried out under an existing agreement with the supplier of MOPAS, and that agreement provides for enhancements. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the next step is to embark on phase 2 of Correct Super App project, for which specifications have already been prepared to kick off the procurement process. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Yes, you have a supplementary, Honourable Ramdas.
May we have an indication from the Honourable Minister as to the timeline for the commencement of phase 2 of the app Correct?
Thank you, Honourable Member. So we will, within few weeks, issue the RFP, and we are looking at the regulatory period of around 3 months before we are able to receive the bids and start the evaluation.
Honourable First Member for Aquaculture.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, when I took office in November 2024, there was a total anarchy in the recruitment of foreign workers to work in Mauritius. Mauritius was placed on the blacklist of countries with forced labor by the Department of Trade of the United States of America. Report from international non-governmental organizations suggested that foreign workers were being exploited and made to pay recruitment fees. My first priority, therefore, has been to work with the International Organization of Migration of the United Nations to come up with new regulation to ensure the ethical recruitment of foreign workers. The private recruitment agency regulations came into force in October 2025, and it is only as from that date that my ministry considered application for recruitment licenses. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I regard Part A1 of the question. Following the promulgation of the private recruitment agency regulations, my ministry has to date received 69 applications for recruitment of non-citizens for employment in Mauritius licenses. As at date, only 2 recruitment licenses have been issued for recruitment of non-citizens for employment in Mauritius. In addition, 6 applications for such licenses have been approved, and claims for payment of the license fees and security have been issued, but payment is being awaited. Another 7 applications have been recommended by the committee, subject to additional information being obtained. I'm tabling the names of the 2 companies which have obtained a recruitment license for the recruitment of non-citizens for employment in Mauritius. However, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the names of the beneficial owners cannot be disclosed in view of the provisions of the Data Protection Act. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part A2 of the question, for the past 3 years, no recruitment licenses have been suspended or revoked. However, all recruitment licenses lapsed in 2024 and were not renewed as the legal framework was being reviewed. With regard to application for recruitment license for non-citizens to work in Mauritius after October 2025, 9 applications have been rejected so far. The reason why the applications have been rejected is because they do not meet the new statutory criteria being required to issue a recruitment license, including A, technical knowledge and experience in recruitment, B, knowledge of applicable law, C, sufficient financial resources, and D, fitness and suitability of shareholders, directors, and senior officers. As regards Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that following the issue of the recruitment licenses under the new legislation and to prevent illegal recruitment of workers, my ministry has issued a communiqué to inform the public and employers that recruitment of workers should be carried out through duly licensed private recruitment agencies in accordance with the law. The list of licensed private recruitment agencies for each category of licenses have been posted on the website of the ministry and is being updated as soon as new licenses are issued. Such measures have been taken with a view to promoting fair, transparent, and ethical recruitment practices, safeguarding the rights and welfare of non-citizen workers, preventing illegal recruitment activities, and ensuring compliance with local labor laws and international labor standards. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the law already prohibits the charging of fees from workers either by the agent or the employer. The regulations expressly provide that all fees and costs in respect of migrant workers should be borne by the employer, and the recruitment agent is not allowed to charge migrant workers any recruitment fees. In addition, licensees should, on a quarterly basis, submit relevant returns on vacancies and the number of job seekers placed both locally and abroad. Any person who contravenes the provisions of the private recruitment agency's legislation shall commit an offence and shall, on conviction, be liable to a fine of not less than 500,000 rupees and not exceeding 1 million rupees, and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years. All licensees should display their license and condition conspicuously in their office premises, otherwise they may be liable to a fine of up to 50,000 rupees. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, finally, since January 2025 to May 2026, some 21 cases of recruitment of foreign workers without a valid recruitment license have been referred by my ministry to the Commissioner of Police. Despite reminders sent to the Commissioner of Police, it would appear that up to now, the police has not prosecuted anyone for illegal recruitment. Further to the issuance of the recruitment licenses, my ministry is envisaging post-inspection to ensure that recruitment agencies are adhering to the conditions specified in the legislation. Thank you.
Yes.
Le ministre est-il au courant que de nombreuses compagnies agissent comme agences de recrutement sous couvert de consulting, puisque n'ayant pas de licence officielle? Et si oui, est-ce qu'il accepte cette pratique non encadrée?
Tout à fait, Monsieur le Président de séance. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle, en 21 occasions, on a référé des cas à la police, parce que c'est inacceptable. Donc, on ne tolère aucun consultant qui puisse agir sans la licence voulue. Mais je dois dire qu'on a donné une certaine flexibilité avant octobre 2025 pour que les employeurs puissent faire une demande pour des travailleurs étrangers en leur propre nom, parce qu'on n'avait pas encore recruté, on n'avait pas encore émis des recruitment licenses. Maintenant qu'on a émis des recruitment licenses, tout le monde devra passer à travers les agences de recrutement qui ont un permis valable.
Yes,
Peut-il informer la Chambre si la compagnie Lexus Recruitment Agency & Co. Limited, incorporée le 5 février 2025, et dont l'adresse du beneficial owner est la même que celle de son proche collaborateur et agent électoral, M. JS, est-ce que cette compagnie fait partie des 21 cas qu'il a mentionnés? Est-ce qu'elle a été directement ou indirectement impliquée dans le recrutement des travailleurs étrangers depuis l'an dernier?
Monsieur le Président de séance, dans la liste que j'ai des cas référés par mon ministère à la police, il n'y a pas le nom de la compagnie dont fait mention l'honorable membre.
OK, last one.
Il n'a pas répondu à ma question. Est-ce qu'elle a été impliquée d'une manière ou d'une autre, indirectement ou directement, dans le recrutement? Même si elle n'est pas dans ces 21 cas, est-ce qu'il est au courant que cette compagnie a directement ou indirectement participé au recrutement de travailleurs étrangers, puisqu'il vient de dénoncer cette pratique de consulting?
Comme je l'ai dit, tous les cas d'abus, tous les cas qui sont référés à mon ministère, où après enquête, on voit qu'il y a une personne qui a agi comme agent recruteur sans une licence, a été référé à la police. Et on a une liste de 21 cas qui a été déjà référé à la police. Malheureusement, le nom de la compagnie dont on mentionne l'honorable membre n'est pas sur cette liste, mais si elle a des informations, je l'invite d'aller à la police et faire une déposition en bonne et due forme.
The Honourable Third Member for Flag-Bulakai.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. B671.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the student discipline remains
a matter of utmost priority for my ministry and for this government, as it is directly linked to the creation of a safe, stable, and conducive learning environment, which is essential for quality education and the holistic development of our learners. Having said that, let me add that today it is becoming increasingly challenging for heads of schools and educators, both in primary and secondary schools, to manage discipline. I'm informed that for the period January 2025 to 7th May 2026, the following cases of indiscipline were reported in primary and secondary schools. 353 cases of bullying, 63 in primary schools, and 290 in secondary schools. 21 drugs-related incidents, 7 in primary schools, and 14 in secondary schools. Moreover, 56 cases of online harassment were reported in secondary schools, while 88 cases of inappropriate behavior were recorded in primary schools. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, discipline management in schools remains the responsibility of school under the Education Act. However, this government has adopted a structured, preventive approach to tackle indiscipline through close collaboration with the Mauritius Police Force, the Family Support Services, and other relevant stakeholders. Disciplinary committees operate at school level. CCTV surveillance systems have been installed in some schools. Moreover, targeted police patrols are being conducted in areas identified as high risk. In parallel, prevention and behavioral transformation are being reinforced through the evidence-based Get Connected program for students at lower secondary level, particularly those in grades 7, 8, and 9. The program focuses on the development of core life skills such as self-awareness, emotional regulation, and responsible decision-making, with the aim of strengthening protective factors at an early stage and reducing vulnerability to risk behaviors, including substance abuse. It is delivered by trained educators. This is being complemented by regular sensitization sessions conducted by the Anti-Drug and Smuggling Unit and the Harm Reduction Unit, as well as class-based interventions on bullying, violence, emotional regulation, and conflict resolution. It is planned to carry out another drug use prevention initiative, namely the Rebound program, designed for grade 10 students. This program will focus on resilience building, critical thinking, and risk awareness. It will adopt interactive and media-based approaches to help students better understand the consequences of drug use and make informed choices. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry has also reinforced psychosocial support mechanisms through student care and counseling desks in all state secondary schools, counseling units known as service d'écoute, and the deployment of educational psychologists and social workers. Furthermore, a whole school and community-based approach is being promoted through parental sensitization programs, multi-agency case conferences for complex situations, and early intervention initiatives at primary level through the Body Safety and Wellbeing Program. Many anti-bullying workshops have also been conducted, and my ministry is finalizing a comprehensive anti-bullying policy together with practical guidelines for schools, parents, and students. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this government remains committed to maintaining discipline in schools while adopting a balanced approach focused on prevention, support, rehabilitation, and student well-being. Thank you.
Does the Honorable Minister also consider the appointment of discipline masters in schools from the teaching staff who can help in maintaining discipline? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, discussions are ongoing with the Minister of Finance in the prelude for the budget presentation, and such requests have been made. We have to wait for the budget in order to know whether it would be implemented or not. Thank you.
Honorable Third Member for Pamplemousse, Yuri.
Monsieur le Président, B673.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed that Banco Valor International Limited has not been granted any license by the Financial Services Commission. On the other hand, on 29 September 2016, the FSC received an application for an investment banking license in the name of Alvaro Sobrino Africa Limited, with Mr. AS as sole shareholder and beneficial owner. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the time of the receipt of the application for the investment banking license, Mr. AS was already the ultimate beneficial owner of a number of entities for which the FSC had already issued licenses after carrying out the due diligence on his fitness and propriety. And I'm informed that the FSC used the same due diligence that was carried out in assessing the application for the investment banking license. I'm also informed by the FSC that when the initial due diligence was carried out in 2015, adverse remarks were noted and the management company that had submitted the application had provided necessary explanation and submitted the following documents to clear the matter. A. Summary of criminal proceedings dated 23rd May 2013, carried out against Mr. A.S., both in Angola and Portugal. And B. Notice of clearance from the Public Prosecution Service Attorney General's Office of Angola, dated 8 November 2011, declaring that the state of Angola had no wish to pursue any legal action against AS. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the license for investment banking was therefore granted to Alvaro Sobrino Africa Limited on 25th November 2016. As regards parts A of the question, the board of the FSC was not informed at the time the investment banking license was granted in 2016. It was only on the 2nd of March 2017, following adverse press articles published in February 2017, that the FSC board was apprised of the case. These press articles related to the alleged involvement of AS in a case where a prosecutor in Portugal was accused of closure of several cases, of which one case involved Mr. AS. This was viewed as a red flag at the FSC, which had considered the summary of proceedings dated 2013 carried out on Mr. AS in Angola and Portugal in determining the fitness and propriety of Mr. AS while granting the licenses. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the FSC board, then I am informed, was instructed that all entities having Mr. AS as beneficial owner should not start operation without the approval of the then acting chief executive, and a communique dated 2nd March 27 was issued by the FSC to that effect. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am also informed by the FSC that on 4 April 2017, Kroll Associates UK Limited was appointed to carry out an independent due diligence on Mr. AS and for an assessment of the reputational and integrity profile of Mr. AS. On 21st April 2017, Kroll submitted its report and highlighted various issues which adversely impacted the reputation and character of Mr. AS and questioned his fitness and propriety. However, no documentary evidence was submitted in support of the statement made in the report, and Kroll further indicated that it would be unable to confirm the status of any criminal proceedings on Mr. AS. In the absence of elements to be considered and authoritative confirmations from FSC counterparts regarding wrongdoings imputed to Mr. AS, no enforcement actions were initiated against Mr. A.S. Alvaro Sobrino Africa Limited did not commence business operations under the investment banking license. The said license was suspended by the FSC on 27 March 2018 and was terminated with effect from 11 September 2023 under Section 22(4) of the Financial Services Act for non-payment of fees. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part B of the question, I'm informed by the FSC that the application for the investment banking license was examined and approved by the Applications Committee, chaired by the former acting chief executive and comprising 6 members who were heads of supervision and licensing clusters at the FSC at its meeting held on 23rd November 2016. I'm informed that no actions was initiated against any officer. Thank you.
Time is over. Okay, I will allow you one supplementary on it. Time is over.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Could the Honourable Minister therefore advise the House, did the FSC actually clear Mr. Sobrino given that no enforcement actions has been taken against him?
I wouldn't say that they cleared, but they did not take any action. So they based themselves on the previous due diligence done. They gave the license, but when press reports were published, then they commissioned the report from Kroll. But in fact, Kroll only gave judgment, but they did not supply any, from what I'm told, they did not supply any documentary evidence and no action was taken. They only decided to request him not to start any operation. So the companies were not allowed to operate and subsequently suspended.
Time is over. The table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn. B 686, 691, 687, 707, 681, 690, 682, 705, 677, 685, 675, 708, 689, 695, 630, 672, 680, 692, 698, 703, 678, 699, 694, 700, 688, 704, 706, 683, 684.
Motion.
Honourable Acting Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I beg to move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statement by Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I wish to make a statement on a matter of pressing national importance. The persistent threat of legacy asbestos, a known cause of asbestosis, lung cancer, and mesothelioma in the EDC houses built on ex-CHA estates after Cyclone Alix and Carol in the early 60s. This is not a new problem. It has been documented for a quarter of a century by the Addison Assessment, 2001-2002, the National Action Plan, 2002, Dr. Sibati Report, 2006, the National OSH Profile, 2009, the Truth and Justice Commission Report, 2011, the Communiqué of 22nd of July, 2015, the Ombudsperson for Children Annual Report 2017-2018, our legislative framework prevents new exposure. What it has not done, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is resolve the legacy. The state's own records are not consistent. Depending on the source and the year, the initial stock has been reported as 3,013 or 3,113. The units still contain asbestos as 1453 or 1560, and units dismantled since 2015 as 2018 or 2028. I will not stand here in this August Assembly and pretend otherwise. The discrepancy in figures is itself one of the hurdles we must overcome, and it is one of the reasons Statistics Mauritius has been tasked to deliver a reconciled, updated national picture. What is not in doubt is the order of magnitude. Well over 1,000 families still live under asbestos roofs, and progress over the last decade has been unacceptably slow. On the 10th of April 2026, Cabinet established an interministerial committee which I chair, comprising of my colleagues, the Honourable Ministers of Environment, National Infrastructure, and Health and Wellness, together with the Junior Minister of Local Government who was present and who represented his ministry. The committee held its first substantive meeting on the 6th of May 2026 at my ministry, with senior officials from finance, housing and lands, environment, national infrastructure, health, local government, and Statistics Mauritius. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I make this statement today not to announce a finished plan, but to demonstrate that a process has begun and to be transparent about where it stands. 3 hurdles. 3 hurdles have for decades blocked decisive action. The first is the data discrepancy I have just acknowledged. It will be resolved by a single reconciled inventory. The second is la case héritier, the complex inheritance arrangements that stall any intervention. A simplified ownership pathway is being examined in consultation with the Attorney General's office, including the constitutional avenues available to cut through prohibitive red tape where strictly necessary. The third is the rehousing eligibility constraint. Current policy disqualifies those who own immovable property, unjustly excluding the very families trapped in toxic homes on their own land. We are designing a voluntary land for housing exchange. The state takes over the affected plot transparently and independently valued in exchange for a clean social housing unit. For households who prefer to reconstruct on their own land, 2 financial options are under examination: channeled credit through the Mauritius Housing Company or a direct grant per household. Replacement units would be standardized at approximately 49 meters square with a monthly rental allowance during a targeted 9-month replacement cycle. Indicative reconstruction costs of 2.5 to 3 million per unit. Intervention will be evidence-based. The Mauritius Standards Bureau has been engaged to conduct airborne asbestos testing on an initial sample of 35 houses. Statistics Mauritius will shortly submit its comprehensive updated survey. The Ministry of National Infrastructure will undertake structural assessments. The Ministry of Local Government will expedite legal notices on abandoned units. On finance, the historical record shows 800 million provision in the 2022-2023 budget, 40 million in 2023-2024, and 100 million under the casting of roof slab scheme in 2024-2025. But consolidated outturn figures across agencies have not been readily available. A dedicated program code, ring-fenced, subheads, quarterly reconciliation, and independent audits will have to be put in place. Public money spent on saving lives lives must be traceable to the last rupee. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, let me be candid with the House about the sequencing. Everything I have outlined depends on 3 sequential clearances. Financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance, legal clarification in particular from the Attorney General on the compulsory intervention protocol or on the ownership pathway, and thereafter cabinet approval of the consolidated package. The immediate milestones are these. By the end of May 2026, this month, preliminary statistics Mauritius results and MSB airborne testing results received, the committee reconvenes. In short term, a reconciled national inventory published, the Attorney General's opinion obtained, legal notices served on dangerous abandoned units, the dedicated financial program code activated. In the medium and long term, a national communication campaign, the formalization of the land for housing exchange and the financial options, phased dismantling and reconstruction, and a long-term health surveillance. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, je crois en une politique de transparence. I will not promise the House what I cannot yet deliver, and I will not hide from this House the dependencies, the discrepancies, or the difficulties. What I can say with certainty is that a process has begun, that it is structured, that it is anchored in evidence, in law, and fiscal discipline. I therefore undertake before this House to keep the National Assembly fully informed at each stage. Once the airborne testing results are received, once Statistics Mauritius reports, once the Attorney General has opined, once finance has cleared, and once Cabinet has decided. The health and dignity of every Mauritian family living under these roofs is non-negotiable, and the era of reports that gather dust is over. Thank you.
Bill, second reading.
The Honourable Minister for Tertiary Education, Dr. Suko.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the National Research and Innovation Institute Bill number 4 of 2026 be read a second time.
Seconded.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I rise today not only to introduce a bill, I also rise for a turning point on decades of fragmented research, a turning point on siloed institutions that rarely talk to each other, a turning point on reports commissioned, shelved, and forgotten. That era ends today. This bill draws a line, bold, permanent, and irreversible, between what Mauritius has been and what Mauritius must now become. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, what separates a nation that participates in the global economy from one that helps to shape it? It's rarely geography or natural resources. It is the capacity to generate knowledge, to translate that knowledge into innovation, and to deploy that innovation in the service of national development. That capacity is what this bill creates. C'est pour cela que je le dis avec force aujourd'hui. Ce projet de loi ne vise pas à créer une institution de plus. Il vise à doter notre pays d'un véritable moteur national d'idées, de preuves, d'innovation et de transformation économique. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we're an island. No oil, no gas, no minerals. Our principal resource is the resource that never runs out, is the brilliance of our people. The world has changed Today, knowledge is power. Innovation is power. Research is power. There are so many examples, like Singapore, which did it with brains. South Korea did it with brains. Ireland and Finland did it with brains. Singapore generates thousands of patents and supports hundreds of spin-off companies every year. South Korea invests close to 5% of its GDP in research and development. And Mauritius. In 2024, for every resident patent application generated in Mauritius, Singapore generated 270, and Finland around 600, and South Korea around 28,000. Even if we normalize it for the population, the per capita innovation intensity for Mauritius is 56 times lower below Singapore, 32 times below Finland, and 676 times below South Korea. It reflects clearly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, being several times less patent intensive than these countries is not a simple gap. It is a structural gap. It reflects years without a national innovation culture. It will not close down on its own. It will not close down with goodwill. It will not close down with isolated effort. It closes through deliberate institutional intervention, and that is precisely what NRI delivers. The world spent $2.87 trillion on research and development in 2024. Not billions, trillions. Global research and development spending has nearly tripled in real terms since year 2000. That is the scale of the global commitment to knowledge. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Mauritius has decided not to remain behind. That is why I wish to express my gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister, because the government program 2024-2029, at paragraphs 21 and 37, committed this government to a groundbreaking framework for research and innovation, and to the legislation to operationalize it. Consequently, the budget 2025 and 2026, at paragraphs 21 and 23, also place research, development, and innovation at the heart of our new economic model, and proposed the very institute we are establishing today. This bill, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is the delivery of that promise, on time, on mandate, on record. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is a fact that the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, ranks Mauritius 53rd in the world on the Global Innovation Index, and number 1 in sub-Saharan Africa, and classifies Mauritius as one of the fastest climbers on earth. But a ranking is not a destination. In fact, a ranking is a departure point. The NRI being proposed today is how we depart, decisively, ambitiously, and permanently. The MRIC was created with good intentions. It served a purpose. We will never deny that. But MRIC was built for an earlier phase of our development. That word it was designed for is gone. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, for decades, we have produced research reports of impressive thickness and impressive obscurity, beautifully bound, professionally printed and stored. We can't continue doing this. Today, fragmentation is a liability. Delay is a liability. Timid ambition is a liability. Section 41 repeals the MRIC Act. This bill does not rename MRIC. It does not tinker. It does not adjust. Sections 3 to 45 build something fundamentally and permanently different. What Mauritius needs now, that is the NRII. A stronger body, a broader body, a sharper body, a national centralized body. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me to walk this House briefly through the architecture of the bill. Sections 1 and 2 set the legal foundation. They define applied research. They define mission-oriented research as research directed at finding practical solutions to national challenges. They define our national research and innovation priorities. No more research for the sake of research. No more papers that collect dust. We start with the problem. We commission the research to solve it. Here, I would like to let the academic know that we are not saying that we will not do fundamental research. That will continue. They will continue to have research funding from the Higher Education Commission and other sources. But what we are saying is that we are focused on national challenges. We want everybody to contribute to find the solution to the national challenges. Section 3 establishes the NRII as a body corporate, a real institution, a national institution. Section 4, the heart of the bill, sets 11 national commitments, evidence-based policymaking, coordination of the research ecosystem, mission-oriented research on climate, food, health, the ocean, the digital, and energy, capacity building inside the government, resource mobilization, talent attraction and retention, and stronger international positioning. Section 5 places research inside the government itself. The NRII aims to train public officers to conduct, commission, and interpret applied research. Evidence will become the standard, not the exception. NRII promotes research and evidence-based policy decision. Section 6 empowers NRII to conduct strategic research for new economic sectors. The blue economy, the green economy, biotech, advanced manufacturing, digital frontier, to include a few. I wish to say clearly that diversification that we have been talking about should not remain a slogan. Diversification is research, is evidence, is strategy. The next pillar of our economy is likely to be born from the NRII research. Section 7 gives the institution the powers to deliver, to contract, to partner, to establish laboratories and innovation hubs, to appoint international experts, to raise funds globally, to patent, to license, and to generate royalties. Sections 8 to 14 establish 5 divisions: administration and support, strategy, applied research and commission studies, partnerships, and innovation, which in fact bridges the academia, which is the bridge between academia and industry, and crosses the so-called valley of death between discovery and deployment, and capacity building and talent development, which manages fellowships and the Mauritius Brain Gain Initiative. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me one illustration. We all know Alexander Fleming. He discovered penicillin by accident, be it when he saw the bacteria near the mole dying. And this happened in 1928. But only 15 years down the lane, it was 15 years after, that is in 1943, that penicillin was given to everybody. So 15 years between discovery and the time it came to the market and made available to everyone. 15 years between discovery and deployment. 15 years lost in what scientists call the valley of death between research and impact. Mauritius cannot afford such valley of death. Frankly, no one, not even our patients. The Partnerships and Innovation Division of the NRII is the bridge across that valley. That's why NRII aims to build the talent base that our economy demands. Scientists, engineers, technologists, researchers. It will grow a research-intensive, innovative, and entrepreneurial economy. And most importantly, it aims to turn researchers into entrepreneurs through mentorship, through training, through access to funding for research. Because Mauritius does not need more papers on the shelves. Mauritius needs more entrepreneurs in the marketplace, spin-off, startups, and Mauritius companies built on Mauritian research. This is the ambition, this is the deliverable. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Section 15 creates the Board of Governors of Competence, proven competence in research, science, finance, technology, transfer, higher education, entrepreneurship, policy, or public administration. Thus, competence, results, and accountability are built in from day one. Section 23 establishes the National Research Institute Coordinating Council. It includes every government research body, like FARE, MCIA, MOI, and other public-funded agencies, convened by mandate every 2 months to align efforts and eliminate duplication. Because the hardest problems, like climate, food, cities, health, sit at the intersection of disciplines, not within any single one. Breakthrough come from teams. And above all, excellence demands convergence. Section 25 establishes Scientific Advisory Council. 5 independent experts from academia, industry, and research organizations will form part of that. Their mandate: protect quality, enforce rigor, ensure relevance, and ensure that the reports, the biannual reports, are tabled on time. This builds transparency and quality into the institution's DNA. Part 5, we have introduced financial discipline from day one. There is a general fund, and the auditor will be the director of audit, the independent audit authority of this republic. Clearly, this is bold but disciplined, ambitious but answerable, strong but properly governed. Section 31 vests the Institute with the right to patent, license, sell, and generate royalties. We are building a knowledge economy. Intellectual property is its currency. Sections 43 and 44 ensure a smooth lawful transition. Every MRIC officer is protected, same terms, conditions, pension rights, no one loses the job, no one loses the pension, no one is left behind. This is clearly not a reckless change. It is a lawful reform, but a necessary reform. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, what this bill is really about. It's about whether Mauritius is serious about the future. Do we want to remain reactive or become strategic? Do we want fragmented effort or coordinated action? Do we want policy-based assumption or policy based on evidence? Do we want to keep old structures because they're comfortable or build new structures because the times demand them? The government has made its choice. We choose science, we choose research, we choose innovation, we choose coordination, we choose the future. To every researcher, every scientist, every engineer, every doctoral student, every Mauritian who left because they could not see a future here for the work they love, this bill is for you. The NRI says that your work matters, your discoveries have a home, your career can be built here. Your country needs what you know. The race is on, the leading nations are pulling away, and Mauritius, #1 in Africa, one of the fastest climbers on earth, is not going to sit in the stand and watch. Together, we are going to compete. We are going to discover. We are going to build. We are going to win. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the national interest demands modern institution. It demands courage, and it demands NRI. We are not merely establishing an institute. We are building the future. It is with full conviction and profound pride that I commend the National Research and Innovation Institute Bill to this august assembly. Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you. I suspend the sitting for half an hour.